Yo, I was thinking, right? I seen somebody say some shit that it stuck out to me. This was a long ass time ago, but it just came to me just now. And I'm listening to some music and shit, and I'm like, damn, that shit makes so much sense. Like, who the fuck made up hard times? Like, who made up hard times anyway? You know what I'm saying? Like, who created this rich and poor shit? Who created the rat race? All that kind of shit. You know, you hear a lot of men's story from when they was kids. Even my story, like, I got a similar story. Growing up in the ghetto, not having a whole lot. But you hear a lot of other people talk about it too. Like, I didn't know we was poor. You know what I'm saying? Like, I knew we was surviving. I ain't never feel like we was poor. Even with the little bit of clothes I had, little bit of toys I had at one point in time, like, who say whether or not you rich or you poor? You can be poor, but you can be happy. And you can be in love with life. And you can feel free. You know what I'm saying? When you at a certain age, like, you don't know the difference between rich and poor. You know what I'm saying? But I think, like I said, that's another way. The government, the people with the powers that be, you know, they create that divide. They create the rat race. You know what I'm saying? They create this matrix shit. All this fake shit, all this shit we out here going super hard for that don't really mean nothing in the end. Losing time with our loved ones, losing connections. Think about everything we put on the line and we sacrifice for the dollar bill. You know what I'm saying? But I had just thought about that. Like, yo, when I was a kid, I mean, don't get me wrong, you had people that, you know, was in the materials and in the name brand shit. But overall, I ain't care about none of that shit. You know what I mean? So that just had me thinking, like, again, I mean, who created hard times? Like, that shit is a mindset. Hard times and struggle and being poor is a mindset. It's nothing more than that. It's a mindset. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I went out, some nights I ain't eat. Or some days my mom told me straight up, look, we got enough for one meal today. Or we got enough for lunch and dinner. I mean, no breakfast. Like, or, you know, like I said, it was one meal. Or I ain't get no shoes for Christmas like I wanted to. Or Easter like I wanted to. I ain't have all the latest shit like I wanted to have. You know what I'm saying? But even in my community, somebody might have got one thing that I didn't get that I really, really wanted. But they was just as broke as me. Nobody couldn't have walked up to me. It would have been a shocker if somebody would have walked up to me and said, yo, you poor. I wouldn't have understood. Like, but it's like people that come up like from humble beginnings, which is more people that come up in humble beginnings than it is people that come up and come through money. They was happy when they was poor. They didn't feel like they was less than or they wasn't better than they wasn't as good as the next person. Like, just, I mean, just ain't had shit, but it didn't take away from the good times and how you felt every day. I think like at a certain time in life, shit get complicated. You know what I'm saying? And they make it that way. You gotta have all of this shit to be in the in crowd, to look cool. For me, it was like high school. That shit turned into like a fashion show. You couldn't even go to school if you ain't had that shit on, because you felt embarrassed. I mean, niggas was gonna clown you, tease you and shit. You know what I mean? But you really think about that shit, man, when you're a kid, man, you don't be worrying about none of that shit. It's designed that way, bro. Look how crazy black people go for materials, bro. It's like they knew that. We the only ones that take risks for that shit every single day. But even the people that take risks and sell drugs and do all types of shit to put themselves in jeopardy, they doing it for what? To look cool. So they won't feel like they don't got it. or feel like they poor or they can't afford because they're gonna feel less than. It's a shot to the ego. I was happy when I was a young boy. I was happy when I was a kid up until a certain age. Couldn't have told me we was poor. Couldn't have told me we was struggling. And I seen certain shit that I knew wasn't right. You know what I mean? But I still ain't feel like it was people out here that was better than me because they had it. You know what I'm saying? Or that mom was better than my mom because she had more. I had times I wish my mom wasn't my mom, just period. But yeah, I never feel like that, man. Somewhere down the line in life, you could fall into the influence and what they telling us. You know, like I say, man, they control the music, they control the airwaves and all that. So they control what go on the radio. They control what go on the TV. And if you happy with who you is, without money or without having a bunch of money, which it should be like that anyway, again, they created this shit, this matrix, this poor and this rich, this have and have not. They created this shit, man. That's why it's like this. Why would anybody need a bunch of billions of dollars? And then you got somebody over here that got zero. It's created that way to give people power, to stroke their egos, to make them feel more than. That's how they want it. But yeah, you know, we ain't had shit and motherfuckers was okay. We was happy. We still was happy. You can't take that from me. Now they got everybody competing. It's designed that way. They dictate what go on the radio for years. They dictate what go on television for years. And if that's all you see, you're gonna look at your life and say, damn, my life's shitty. When in all reality, your life better than the nigga that's on TV with millions of dollars. He a puppet. He miserable. You know what I mean? Millionaires deleted themselves, took a bunch of drugs, overdose. They wasn't happy. They don't control that money anyway. It looked good. We got it backwards, man. The whole time, us from humble beginnings, we had it all. We was happy, genuinely happy. Now, look at us. We fake happy, chasing a bag, trying to look like somebody, trying to be like somebody. I ain't falling for that shit, bro. Again and again and again. I'm gonna take care of my kids by all means. They ain't asked to be here, but I ain't falling for that shit. You won't catch me competing with a motherfucking soul, trying to look like I'm rich. All that goofy shit. Motherfuckers gotta wake up, man. This shit real serious. It's real for real.